Krishna. Tasmin sada labdha ruche mahamate.
Tasmin sada labdha ruche mahamate.
Priyashavasya kila askalita madirmama. Yaya hametat sadasat svamayaya. Pashyemayi brahmani kalpitam pare. Tasmin sada labdha ruche mahamate. Priyashavasya kalita madirmama. Yaya hametat sadasat svamayaya. Pashyemayi brahmani kalpitam pare. Tasmin sada labdha ruche mahamate. Priyashavasya kalita madirmama. Yaya hametat sadasat svamayaya. Pashyemayi brahmani kalpitam pare.
Tasmin sada labdha ruche mahamate. Priyashavasya kalita madirmama. Yaya hametat sadasat svamayaya. Pashyemayi brahmani kalpitam pare.
Tasmin sada labdha ruche mahamate.
Tasmin sada labdha ruche mahamate. Priyashavasya kalita madirmama. Yaya hametat sadasat svamayaya. Pashyemayi brahmani kalpitam pare.
Word to word meaning. Tasmin. It being so. Tada. At that time. Labdha. Achieved. Ruche. Taste. Mahamate. O great sage. Priyashavasi. Upon the Lord. Askalita. Mati. Uninterrupted attention. Mama. Mine. Yaya. By which. Aham. I. Ether. All these. Sat asat. Gross and subtle. Svamayaya. One's own ignorance. Pashye. See. Mai. In me. Brahmani. The Supreme. Kalpitam. Is accepted. Pare. In the transcendence. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada. O great sage, as soon as I got a taste of the personality of Godhead, my attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching. And as my taste developed, I could realize that it was only in my ignorance that I had accepted gross and subtle coverings, for both the Lord and I are transcendental. Purport. Ignorance in material existence is compared to darkness, and in all Vedic literatures the personality of Godhead is compared to the sun. Wherever there is light, there cannot be darkness. Hearing of the Lord's pastime is itself transcendental association with the Lord, because there is no difference between the Lord and His transcendental pastimes. To become associated with the Supreme Light is to dissipate all ignorance. By ignorance only, the conditioned soul wrongly thinks that both he and the Lord are products of material nature. But in fact, the personality of Godhead and the living beings are transcendental, and they have nothing to do with the material nature. When ignorance is removed and it is perfectly realized that there is nothing existing without the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then the Niscience is removed. Since the gross and subtle bodies are emanations from the Personality of Godhead, the knowledge of light permits one to engage both of them in the service of the Lord. The gross body should be engaged in the acts of rendering service to the Lord, such as in bringing water, cleansing the temple and making obeisances, etc. The path of Archana, or worshipping the Lord in the temple, involves engaging one's gross body in the service of the Lord. Similarly, the subtle mind should be engaged in hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, thinking about them, chanting His names, etc. All such activities are transcendental. None of the gross or subtle senses should otherwise be engaged. Such realization of transcendental activities is made possible by many, many years of apprenticeship in devotional service, but simply attraction of love for the personality of God as it was developed in Narad Muni by hearing is highly effective. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Navabhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamikam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Rupapadam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sadhajatam Sadhana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadhaitam Sadhadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sadhana Dalita Shri Shakankita Namo Krishna Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatdesharini Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Adhidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurati Namaha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kamachana Rangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishnavadusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna. So here we see Narada's gradual progression in Krishna consciousness is being nicely depicted here, and in the second chapter of this very canto, we have it has been given about the progression of Krishna consciousness from Shraddha till Prema. So now here Narad Muni is a practical demonstration of this particular progression. So here he had been associating with this great self-realized souls, and it is he takes the remnants of the food left by them. He is having very, very good character, and then he is rendering service unto them, and then so in that way he becomes blessed, and then in the association of those devotees, he is hearing about the pastimes of the Krishna, and so he is listening very attentively. So in this way, like, he gradually develops a taste for the process of Krishna consciousness. So that is the point of that is starting from where like Pravesh Shloka is there. O great sage, as soon as I got a taste of the personality of Godhead, my attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching. And as my taste developed, I could realize that it was only in my ignorance that I had accepted gross and subtle coverings, for both the Lord and I are transcendental. So initially when the bhajan starts, so one may have nice faith in the process of Krishna consciousness, but still he'll be, when he sees the material objects, he'll be seeing it as the material objects, and he'll be attracted by them also. And then still the conception of himself to be transcendental, so that is that is an anartha, like not able to understand oneself to be transcendental and the Lord to be transcendental. theoretically one may know, but then practically, he may not be able to gain that kind of an realization. So these anarthas, over a period of executing devotional service, these anarthas actually get cleared. So the anarthas are like anarthas about oneself, anarthas about the Lord, and then anarthas about the process of devotional service. So like this, various different anarthas are there. So these anarthas have to be like washed off, by the way of execution of devotional service. So when these anarthas are finished, so then one gets into the stage of Nishta and Ruchi. So this Nishta, Ashakti, Ruchi and all. So here, it appears to be like that. This Narad Muni is going through these stages of unflinching devotional service. That is Nishta, and then he is becoming greatly attached to this one, and then a taste actually develops. These are all very highly elevated stage of sadhana bhakti. So, and the effect of it is also mentioned. So when he developed the taste and when he is executing this unflinching devotional service, so then automatically the ignorance is gone. And what is the ignorance? When he saw that when we are able to accept this gross and subtle coverings as ourselves, that is ignorance. And when we are able to see the soul, or the super soul, so then it becomes knowledge. So knowledge means to perceive everything in connection with the Supreme Lord. Ignorance means to understand things in minus the Supreme Lord. So all the education that we have gone through in our modern way of education, so it is all considered to be ignorance. Why it is considered to be ignorance? Because they explain mathematics without connection with Krishna. They explain chemistry without connection with Krishna. They explain physics without connection with Krishna. So everything has its root in Krishna. All the origin of all the energy comes from Krishna. So but then they tell that they explain about various energies, and then they don't give its source as Krishna. And then the root of all the atoms, they explain to be some inert protons, electrons and things like that. So but we understand from Bhagavatam, after Brahma created all the things, nothing was active. So after that the Lord entered into all these elements. So then only elements became active. So the root of everything, or in any way we search, the Lord will be the greatest entity in that particular this one. And then if we explore in the physics and chemistry what is the greatest and greatest and greatest, we'll end up in Virata Rupa. And if we dig deeper and deeper and deeper, we will end up in Paramatma. Right? So in this way we see that, so the root and then the whole, so it's always the Lord. And even in between also there is the existence of the Lord. So the Lord is present at every level, every strata, he is actually present. So but when somebody is trying to explain this subjects without the Supreme Lord, so then it becomes atheistic or it becomes ignorance. So it is Prabhupada sometimes he gives this example of milk and the curd. So milk creates a problem, and another transformation of milk actually cures. So in the same way we see that the matter in itself is not problem, or anything in this whole creation is not a problem. If we know its connection with Krishna, and if we are Krishna conscious, and if we use that in Krishna service, then it is not a problem. So but when we don't have this understanding, its connection with Krishna is not seen, so then it is a problem. Okay? So we see that here it's mentioned, ignorance in material existence is compared to darkness, and in all Vedic literatures the personality of Godhead is compared to sun. Wherever there is light, there cannot be darkness. Hearing of Lord's pastime is itself transcendental association with the Lord, because there is no difference between the Lord and his transcendental pastimes. So now, no Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Andaka, so Yaha Krishna Taha Ne Maya Radhika. So we are able to see everything as matter, and we are not able to see the presence of the Lord. So it is only because of our we are existing in the ignorant position actually. So, but when the knowledge arises, so knowledge means, here it is mentioned, knowledge or light means the Supreme Lord Himself. So, when the Supreme Lord, so this is established in various ways. So, Vedesha Sarve Rahameva Vedya. No? So, Krishna is the knowable, Krishna is the knowledge. And when Krishna is known, so then automatically the ignorance is dissipated. So, like ignorance generally, like people think that, no, I don't know some data, so that is ignorance. So, but knowing data and not knowing data is not very important. So, there are in the Vedic, this one we see that there are many people who have just by the process of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra or just by Shravanam and Kirtanam, many people have actually got delivered. So, it is all about understanding Krishna. If one understands Krishna, so that is the end of all Vedic knowledge. So, and this understanding can be brought about by the way of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Right? So, we see that wherever there is light, there cannot be darkness, and hearing of the Lord's pastime is itself transcendental association with the Lord, because there is no difference between the Lord and His transcendental pastimes. So, like Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela of the Lord, it is not different from the Lord, and wherever it is purely being chanted, it is not. So it is the name of Krishna is used, and but then it is the Krishna is not described properly. Krishna is not described properly according to the scriptures or according to the conclusions of the Vedic knowledge. So then, that kind of utterance, maybe it will look like pastime of the Lord or name of the Lord. So, but then it will not have the appropriate effect. So we have the example of Sarpochishta Yatokaya, like what is it starting? Avaishnava Mukhodgirna, Putam Harikatamritam, Shravanam Naiva Kartavya, Sarpochishta Yatokaya. So, even though the Harikatha is considered to be like Amrita, it's just like milk is considered to be one of the Amrita. So, but then if it is touched by the lips of a serpent, so then it becomes poisonous. So, in the same way, one has to hear the message of Krishna from the right source. Even it is mentioned, right source is very important. So, there is a comparison between the right data and then the right consciousness, or we can say right consciousness, right? So this is like right data or right ingredients and the right consciousness. These are two different elements actually. So we can take it in terms of food. There is a very not very healthy food is there. So, and then whether be it consciousness good or bad, it is going to be bad for the health. So you imagine there is a very nutritious food, but cooked by a complete materialist, who's all the time affected by lust, anger, greed and things like that. So will that food be fit for Vaishnavas to accept after offering? Will that food be fit for Vaishnavas to accept? No, it is not. So here the data is correct, the food is correct, but then the consciousness behind is not correct, right? So because the consciousness is not correct, even if you offer and remove the karma, first of all, the Lord doesn't accept such a food, which is cooked by a materialist, right? So that is why we should not consume the bought out items, where it is cooked by some materialists. Obviously, if they are not in Krishna consciousness, definitely they are in consciousness of lust, they are in consciousness of anger, they are in consciousness of greed. So they cannot be free from all these things. And we are struggling to remove all these things. And then when we take such kind of food and offered food, so so we will get into this one. We will get into our consciousness will get disturbed. So that is why we see that there are many different levels of prasadam is there, and different devotees they can accept, new people can accept this kind of prasadam also if they accept. So some effect will be there, very minimal effect, some effect will be there, it's good. So but for seriously practicing devotees, this thing will not be helpful. no, this thing, no, rather it will be counterproductive actually. So it is like, no, this one, what is it? For a first standard student, first standard syllabus is productive. For a first standard student, no syllabus is counterproductive. Right? So something of that nature. So it is like that. So in the same way, this works the same way for the philosophy as well. So like when you hear the subject matter of Krishna, the subject matter is very, very proper. No, like the details of the pastime is like very properly depicted. And then, but then the person who is reciting the pastime, or person who is reciting the subject matter of Krishna, his consciousness is not proper. His consciousness is affected by lust, anger, greed, and things like that. So, what will happen to the hearer? Data is correct. Consciousness will be transferred. So it is very, very important that this is like in that sense it is mentioned that Tadvat Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abatyavatati Nama Ninantasya Vishonki Kaniya Shrimanti Gayanti Grinanti Sada. This is later or already covered? It's already, it must be already covered, I suppose. So in that, anyways, this is a very famous shloka. Like we know this, that even if there is some grammatical mistakes or some little bit of mistakes here and there, but if it is the pastimes are recited by a person who has faith in the Supreme Lord and his consciousness is proper and he wants to attain the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, such kind of a hearing is more beneficial than a hearing which is like grammatically correct and then like all the ornamentation and everything is correct and things like that, but then the consciousness behind is wrong. So then it is not very good. So we see that this is very, very essential to hear in the parampara, to hear in proper source, and those who are accepting Krishna consciousness, as it is, in the path of the disciplic succession. So that is very, very essential. Otherwise, it will become counterproductive. So hearing of Lord's pastimes is itself transcendental association with the Lord, because there is no difference between the Lord and his transcendental pastimes. So this Nama Rupa Guna Leela, when it is approached in the proper way, so then it becomes transcendental. So when it is approached in an inappropriate way, so then it acts like the other material, this one, right? So to become associated with the Supreme Light is to dissipate all ignorance. By ignorance only, the conditioned soul wrongly thinks that both he and the Lord are products of material nature. So, like the Lord cannot exist. Like if there is darkness is there, then there is no presence of the Lord. And there is multiple different ways. Like the whole project is, so light has to come and ignorance or the darkness has to get dissipated. So there are ways in which regulating the darkness and then like removing the darkness and then bringing about light and things like that. So there is other ways, like whereas you bring the light and then darkness automatically goes. So this is like various different permutations and combinations are there, how to bring about the light and how to remove the darkness, and they are technically called Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. So all these different processes, they work on this core subject. And only because of ignorance, the conditioned soul wrongly thinks that he and the Lord are products of the material nature. Right? So this is all basic anarthas that exist in every one of us. But in fact, the personality of Godhead and the living being are transcendental, and they have nothing to do with the material nature. So like the living entity doesn't have anything to do with the material nature. He doesn't need to be afraid of the situations in this material nature. And the Supreme Lord is also beyond the material nature. So one should not have doubt that will the Lord be able to deliver me from this missions of material existence, or is the Lord in control of everything, or does he know everything that is happening. So all these things, these kind of doubts, a devotee should not have, and he should understand the Lord is beyond the material nature, and we ourselves are also beyond material nature. So, but we are subjected, we are, the living entity is not in the same way as the Supreme Lord, supremely independent and supremely powerful. The living entity is minute and he can be put under the control of material nature, or he can be put under the control of the spiritual nature. This difference is there. So he must be under the control of one of the energies of the Supreme Lord. Right? So when the ignorance is removed and it is perfectly realized that there is nothing existing without the personality of Godhead, then the Nishayans is removed. So Vasudeva Sarvamati. So like that. So when somebody comes to that kind of a position where everything that exists is nothing but the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His energies, so then the ignorance is completely removed. Since the gross and subtle bodies are emanations from the Personality of Godhead, the knowledge of light permit one to engage both of them in the service of the Lord. So in the Bhakti Yoga system, we have this understanding that everything that exists is part and parcel of the Lord, and everything should be used in the service of the Lord. So then there is allowance of engaging the gross body and the subtle body in the service of the Lord directly. So there is allowance of, you can offer nice foodstuffs to the Lord and you can have a feast prasadam. So but in Jnana Yoga, if you go, first and foremost, you have to give up all thought of eating any feast prasadam and things like that. So even in Krishna consciousness, even in Bhakti, one has to give up the thought of eating any feast prasadam. Whatever is by the mercy of the Lord comes, one should accept. If feast comes, one should accept. And if some Avishyanna comes, one should accept. Right? So, like mercy of the Lord. So it should just be focused on getting the mercy of the Lord. So not focused on the flavor of the mercy of the Lord. So that must be there. Right? So it is obviously whatever is the restrictions are there in the lower other yoga systems. If Bhakti Yoga is, we are claiming to be highest yoga system, so then all the prescriptions and prohibitions of lower yoga systems will definitely be applicable in this system as well. So, but then the starting point is that one can accept feast. Even if somebody is thinking that he wants to enjoy his tongue very nicely, and then he is he's allured by the feast prasadam. So cooked by nice devotees and things like that. So then he can still be accepted into the process, and gradually he goes towards even becoming detached from the choice of prasadam. He becomes attached to the fact that I want to get the mercy of the Lord in whatever way it is. I don't mind. So sometimes the Lord's mercy comes in the way of giving us a better job and good time for serving Krishna, and sometimes the Lord's mercy comes in the way of removal of job. And so because he's become completely the devotee becomes completely absorbed in only accepting the mercy of the Lord. So in whichever way or whichever flavor the mercy comes, he becomes blissful. He gets very much engrossed in a deeper way in accepting the mercy of the Lord. Right? So we see that in other yoga systems, we see that there is restrictions of usage of gross and subtle bodies. So there is talk about you cannot gratify your senses. You have to forcibly remove the senses and sense objects. Pratyahara. And then there is also there is in many yoga systems it is spoken about that one should be free from all the material desires. One should remove all these material desires and one should become zero. The thought process should become zero and things like that. So this is quite a tough one. So but in the Bhakti Yoga system, we rightly understand that gross body and subtle mind, both of them are emanations of energy of the Supreme Lord, emanations from the Supreme Lord. So if it is emanations from the Supreme Lord, then it should rightfully be engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. So in that way, both of them are permitted, one is permitted to engage both these gross and subtle bodies in the service of the Lord. And how one should engage? The gross body should be engaged in acts of rendering service to the Lord, just as bringing water, cleansing the temple and making obeisances, etc. So here we see the Vedic times, like this is one of the important service that is there, bringing water. So nowadays, like we don't have much of this one, like maybe from tap we are getting one bucket, and even advanced system like we can get hose pipe and then so we can use it for cleaning and things like that and all. So but in the traditionally you see the temples, temple will be associated with a pond, so why it is there? Because that is a water base, here we have the syntax tank and then pipeline and tap and things like that. So but in traditionally we see that we have a pond, and then so the water has to be fetched from the pond, and it has to be brought in for the Lord's personal service, for the cooking and for the archana and archaman and things like that. So water has to be brought, and even for the cleaning one has to bring the water from the pond. So in this way, there was quite a lot of engagement that was there, and then cleansing the temple and making obeisances and things like that. So we see lots and lots and lots of engagement that is there. Just when there is a temple that exists, so then immediately there is lot of service that is being created for the devotees to get engaged in. So these are all helpful for engaging the physical body in the service of the Lord. And then it is mentioned the path of archana, or worshipping the Lord in the temple, involves engaging one's gross body in the service of the Lord. So there is lot of procedures that are there. So archana marga, which engages both gross body and the subtle mind. So one has to chant a lot of mantras, and then by performance, it is noted in other places, Srila Prabhupada notes this, that when we perform this archana vidhi, when we perform the deity worship very nicely, so then the mind is immediately pulled up to the transcendental plane. So it is very, very quick way, jump start way to actually bring the mind on the transcendental plane. So if the archana process is performed, cleansing the temple, or we have this one of every morning, we clean the photographs of the Lord, then offer the flowers to the Lord and tulsi leaves to the Lord, and then keeping the water and doing various angas of the archana. So that is very, very beneficial. So if it is performed, in all the cases, goal is very, very essential. So if we know that we want to become completely purified at heart and we want to attain the lotus feet of the Lord, and how will I be able to achieve this, that anxiety, and with that anxiety, if we are rendering service to the Lord, having complete hope that by performance of this service, I will be able to purify my heart, and I will be able to get the mercy of the Guru and Krishna. So in this way, in this mood, if we approach with the clarity of goal and clarity of one's position and complete dependence on the process, so when we approach in this way, so then one can actually feel that immediately the mind is pulled up into the transcendental plane. So that is very, very helpful. That is why this archana vidhi is recommended for along with the chanting of the names of the Lord. So if one has to lift up his mind in the process of chanting, all of us know it is quite difficult, and it is the mind keeps wandering and things like that and all. But if you attend an arati, and then if you have offered such prayers that I want to I want to purify myself, I want my mind to be completely absorbed in your thought. So how will I do that? I need your mercy and things like that. So in the process of archana, either you perform the arati yourself or you just witness the arati. So but then you also still get the opportunity to smell the flowers and then smell the incense and witness the arati and things like that. So that is also quite very much purifying. And so by such engagement, the physical senses are purified, and then the mind is also pulled up to the transcendental plane. Right? So and then it is mentioned similarly the subtle mind should be engaged in hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, thinking about them, chanting His names, etc. All such activities are transcendental. None of the gross or subtle senses should be otherwise engaged. So, the contaminated state of existence in the contaminated state of existence in the Kali Yuga, like what is the process that works? So the process that works is this kind of Bhakti Yoga, where the gross and subtle body is engaged in the service of the Lord, and it is not allowed to be engaged in any other way. So when this kind of a combination that is brought about, so then the purification of heart actually happens very, very rapidly. So otherwise, if one has to engage in other processes, like if one is not able to engage in bhakti full time, if one has to be engaged in other processes, that is karma yoga, so then one has to be free from all adharmic thought process. So that is when one can engage in the karma yoga process. And jnana yoga is like beyond question. So one has to be freed from even dharmic desire for sense gratification. So like all these other processes are quite challenging and quite difficult. So that is why it is essential that one should engage in Tivra Bhakti. And Prabhupada, sometimes it is noted also that people in Kali Yuga are like so like badly situated. So at least for some time they should execute like exclusive devotional service, and then there is some level of clarity that emerges and some level of sanity that emerges in the person. So then if he wants, he can do Karma Yoga. So like so without that it is very difficult for him to perform anything. It becomes very, very disturbing actually. So okay, so all such activities are transcendental, and none of the gross and subtle senses should be otherwise engaged. Such realization of transcendental activities is made possible by many, many years of apprenticeship in devotional service. So this is devotional service means like karma, jnana, like all of them are considered to be devotional service. All of them are like this one, all the various packages that are there. So where bhakti is prominent, all of them are considered to be devotional service. So but they take a long, long time for one to make tangible progress in Krishna consciousness. But if one devotes to the highest process, that is Shravanam and Kirtanam, and if he devotes his entire time and energy for the process of Shravanam and Kirtanam, and he makes tremendous progress, he makes immediate advancement in Krishna consciousness, and that is noted to be as highly effective. And for this, just like Narad Muni had, so one should also have a very, very exalted personality to hear from, and he should have complete faith in that personality, and he should like in such a kind of a hearing when he performs, and then submissive hearing, and then he is having complete faith that this personality will deliver me. So in that way, like if he has faith and if he adopts this process of Shravanam and Kirtanam, so then the result will be highly effective, as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here. So just I wanted to do this one small exercise, that what all other ways that you have heard of that physical body and the senses can be engaged in the service of the Lord. Huh? Yeah, book distribution. So if you ask, Vimala Prabhu will say like that is the only way that is. Yes. So what all other ways? Yeah, cooking for the Lord. Archana Vidhi, like we can elaborate the Archana Vidhi. So cooking for the Lord and engaging in the Archana process and cleansing the temple, and even for the sake building the temple, in this way. So any other process? Physical?
Leading temple, mopping,
Preaching?
FOI registration.
Follow up and things like that and all. So yeah, so see, you just simply call a friend and speak, and then you call as a service of the Lord, and then you convince that person to come and attend the class. So both has a lot of difference actually. So in one thing, like your mind will get disturbed, in another thing, like you will become more closer to Krishna. So and then what are different ways the mind can be engaged?
Reading.
Now here we see it is mentioned that hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, thinking about Him, and chanting His name. So these are all already mentioned. So what else? Hearing involves reading as well.
Reciting shlokas.
Reciting shlokas. No, that's very, very powerful. Recitation of shlokas. No, if we memorize shlokas and if we recite them every single day, so then that recitation actually makes a powerful impact on our system. Just like you see some obnoxious thing in this world, right? So then that gets stuck in your mind. No, so that gets stuck in your mind, and then you keep on the thought actually comes back again and again. No, it just keeps polluting. No, one polluted vision. No, it just stays in the mind, and it again and again it comes back to the surface, and it again and again keeps polluting the mind. So in the same way, like you see that the shloka memorization is very, very powerful because shlokas are quite sticky in nature. No, so once you memorize a shloka, so then it keeps coming to the surface because it is rhythmic, and then it can be chanted in a nice meter and things like that, and it has nice meanings as well. So so those things keeps on ringing, just like film songs, people keep humming and things like that. In that way, the shlokas are also quite sticky. They can be very you keep reciting them, and they are also quite attractive. So by constant engagement in Krishna's service, both gross and subtle ways, so then you will develop attachment and attraction towards them, and more you engage in them, so more you will develop attraction towards them, and more you will be tempted to do that. And if you reduce the association here and more you associate with matter, so then more you will become attracted towards that, and then more and more you will get tempted to do the material things. Right? So it is the time is an asset that we have, and then the gross and subtle body that we have, that is an asset that we have. How well we engage these assets in the service of the Lord, so that makes the difference in the execution of Krishna consciousness. Of course, with the understanding of the goal and with the understanding of the process. So when we properly engage, so then the effect is very nicely seen. Any other ways of engaging the mind?
Contemplating instruction.
Huh?
Contemplating on the past times or
Yeah, contemplating. Yeah. What you told?
Contemplating on the instructions.
Contemplating on instructions. Yes.
Planning for how to expand.
Yeah, planning to enhance one's service to Krishna. So this is also in Nectar of Instruction. Prabhupada actually notes in the Manovegam, he mentions that thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord, that is one thing. Savai Mana Krishna Padaram Indeyo. So Prabhupada likes that line. So he mentions that thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord, and then thinking how to enhance one's service to Krishna. So this is also one nice way to engage the mind. So if you see that suddenly if a materialist he gets a thought that today I want to eat something nice. So immediately he starts making plan. He starts calling his friends chalo some restaurant which chalenge, and then there is which kind of this one and things like that. Or if they want to chill out or go somewhere and things like that, they make a lot of plans for all these things. So in the same way, and a Rajasic person, he wants to make money, and then he is making so much of plans. He is making his business plans, he is making his strategy, how to expand and things like that. So in the same way, if we have some goals in Krishna consciousness, if he has got a nice service in Krishna consciousness, so we are trying to design a sadhana chart based on NOI. So so in the Vacha Vegam, there is there if you speak something else apart from Krishna, so then it is like toad, or it's like a frog, it is making sound to attract the snake, and material nature will come and swallow us, we will get fully thoughts about material nature, right? And but if we ensure that we are speaking only about Krishna, and we are not speaking, the power of speech is used only for Krishna, so then it is first level clear, So this is the different questions will be there, that have you spoken about Krishna? It's fine, no, yes. Have you spoken about anything else apart from Krishna? That also yes means that's the problem. And then percentage, okay, how much time, of all the speech that you have done, how much time that you spoke about Krishna and how much time you spoke about something else. Okay, the percentage comes. So then the this one is that you make plans, that what is your plans to increase this percentage of like speaking only about Krishna, no? So like, okay, now you are just 5%, तो उसको 6% कैसे बनाएंगे या 50% कैसे बनाएंगे and things like that. So this is a thought process, like when we actually sit with that kind of analysis, so we will know that okay, how to make this adjustment, and that becomes this one. And like our superiors actually mentioned that no, you may do so many wonderful things in Krishna consciousness, but the Krishna consciousness actually functions, as Rupa Goswami is given in the Nectar of Instruction. Goes by, it is like they call it as semester. No, first sloka is one semester, second sloka is second semester, third sloka is third semester, and then like our acharyas are merciful. You are allowed to attempt or you are allowed to study the subjects of various semesters, but you will be passed only semester by semester. So you may do all the circus, you may hear about Radhakund and things like that. No, but until unless you finish the first shloka, and in the first shloka also the first element, no, speaking only about Krishna. First you seal that, no, and pass there, so then only like you will be assessed for the second examination. Otherwise you may be performing well in the second and third, and you are like not doing well in the first. That means you are zero. Like what is your this one? Which year you are in? Zero. You are not passed even first year. So like that, one has to make this thing. So this actually gave a lot of wonderful. Many times devotees say that Prabhuji, I am doing so many things. Like I am doing, I am doing many services, and I am chanting, and I am doing so many things. But then the mind is not stable. I am not able to absorb in Krishna consciousness. It is because of this. Because we have taken some lower stages of this is all this is all bachche ke liye, so we'll leave that and हम जाएंगे सीधा. So पढ़ेंगे तो चैतन्य चरितामृत पढ़ेंगे, नहीं तो कुछ नहीं पढ़ेंगे. So like that. So then it becomes a problem. He's not strong in his foundational principles. So he's filling the bucket with lot of water, and then the hole is there in the bottom, and all the water is going down. So one has to fill the hole, the bottommost hole. So तब जाके थोड़ा सा पानी टिकेगा, and then the next level hole and next level hole and things like that. थोड़ा बहुत पानी टिकेगा. If he fills up all the top holes and bottommost hole is not filled, there is no use of filling of all the holes. Still the water will go off. In the same way, the advancement of Krishna consciousness is made step by step, and then in this process, we see that Vacha Vegam, Manasa Vegam, all these things are the acharyas give clear, definite, objective steps. What if you do, you can actually fill this hole. So that is the beauty of the purports of Srila Prabhupada, and we should actually take them in that way, and we should carefully read the purports. And then we should see that this particular project, we should take up every single thing as a project, and then we should execute them and perfectly pass that particular level, so then we can go to the next levels. So in that way, we can make stable advancement in Krishna consciousness. And so there Prabhupada mentions about thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord and enhancing, thinking about how to enhance one's devotional service. So these are also nice engagements of the mind. Right? So you should get, one is that most of you, whatever you've told, it is right, but if you can also get the quotation, where in Srila Prabhupada's purports he has mentioned about that particular aspect. So then you will have even more this one, okay, now I am going to, I am a patient and I have got a right prescription of the doctor, and then I am going to follow, so follow this particular thing. And I'm, when you come in front of Srila Prabhupada and when you come in front of the Lord, so you can actually offer the prayers in such a way that I am taking shelter of you. It is not that I know this is the right thing to do. Probably you told it or not, I don't know. Maybe it is an expert analysis of my intelligence. So and things like that. So but if we know the exact statement, where Prabhupada is instructing us that you should do this to control the mind, you should do this to control your speech and things like that. So then we will be very, very greatly inspired, and we will know that we are taking shelter of the Guru Parampara and things like that. So with this I pause. Any questions, comments we can take for the next 15 10-15 minutes. Okay. Yes.
In the beginning of the lecture, you mentioned like not being clear about transposition or last position is always like understanding. So wanted to clarify if someone accepts theoretically and has faith that his soul is supreme and is Krishna, but is not able to realize it in his daily practice or living, is that an another? Someone is getting doubts only that am I really soul or am I is Krishna really not? If he's doubting, then that's another.
No. See, here Anantana Vritti we handle in the stage of after Bhajana Kriya. So Bhajana Kriya requires the conviction that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the process of bhakti, that's all covered in the Shraddha itself, right? So, the process of bhakti is like theoretical understanding and theoretical faith is essential. So, what we call as anartha here is, in the sadhaka's journey, is the internal realization of that particular aspect. Why echo is there in this? उसका echo बंद कीजिए. What is that? ठीक है.
So you told about semester. So it is regarding the NI, that particular book only you're talking about.
Yes.
One particular. So how does that act? Even fourth verse is there, Dadati Pratiketa. So first verse is there. Like you are telling that first verse has to be followed, then only you will make advancement. Is it like that?
Without following first verse, if you follow fourth, still you will not get that much of benefit actually. So it has been seen that first three shlokas pertaining to the Shraddha aspect of the this one. So what is mentioned there, you have to this basically you have to control all these various urges that is there in you, and then through a Krishna conscious process, right? So now one may say that Vaishnava Seva is so nice, if I do it is nice, but if he, without controlling these urges, if he goes and do Vaishnava Seva, he will commit offenses and he'll regress. Vaishnava Seva is good and he's doing, and suddenly gussa aa gaya dusra Vaishnava. So that is why it is very essential. Vaishnavas are so precious. And then before you get into them, get in vicinity of them, first and foremost, one has to be cultured in the good behavior, So one is, one is so selfish, or one is behind lust, anger, greed and things like that. So then, for him it is better as, better thing is, association is he just comes to Sunday feast class, hears something, takes a nice prasadam, haribol, and then, jada pass mein nahi leke aana chahiye. And then he should be engaged nicely in physical services and things like that. So then, once he is qualified, once he knows how to engage how to control his urges and things like that, so then he can be brought close.
Regarding different people have different natures. So if one is able to do Vaishnava Seva in the fourth verse, he is able to perform those activities as well, but is struggling in the first one or second verse. Then how does it
His advancement will be hampered. He will have to do this thing. Now one may have some advantages due to this particular nature, but then one has to clear all these stuffs actually.
First verse, it requires a lot of goodness to follow whatever so those are in ashram, it is easy for them to live an opposite of goodness. But those who are working outside, how they can follow this?
So this first verse, it tells that he can become spiritual master of the whole world. In the first verse only whole essence is there actually.
No. It is considered, the acharyas are telling that, this is that is why in the pure devotional service, the Shraddha platform in pure devotional service itself is very, very high. It is not that, it is the if you see, there is, what is Krishna consciousness in that? No controlling of anger, and speech, and this one and things like that and all. There is nothing Krishna conscious about it. It is just like, and the acharyas have given a Krishna conscious way of executing these things. And if you see in the like Vedic system, like everyone, basically even a karma yogi is also expected to have these controls. So otherwise he cannot, like, a karma yogi means like he is desirous of making spiritual progress, and then he is associating with like his spouse only for the sake of begetting a child, and that too, like if a child is conceived, like so yearly once, that's all. So that is that is a kind of control that he is actually developing. And so if he is like too much this one agitated and stuff like that and all, so how will he follow that particular process? Even karma yoga cannot be followed without this process. So these all Vedas have to be like controlled. So for in any process it has to be controlled. So but like if you see a person who is not controlled in this way, he is not even admitted in the karma yoga school. So but in the bhakti yoga school, okay, you have all these things, no problem. You can be admitted, and then you can be like trained to brought out like of this like very quickly. That is the this one of bhakti yoga. And so like in terms of this one, like in terms of so we in Krishna consciousness especially, like we deal with as serious devotees, so are the ones like who are definitely made their life's goal as going back to Godhead, and then they are as a matter of like just they have to survive, so that's why they are working. So like it is not that the serious devotees with whom like we are Haribol. I am explaining your question part. So like this one what I was telling, that serious devotees whom we are actually training, so they even though they are grahasthas, they are working outside and things like that, so they are trained in such a way that only goal of life is to attain the lotus feet of the Lord, and then slowly we should reduce the material engagement and increase our spiritual engagement. And for such people also this process will work. And also I'll appreciate if you ask more questions on brahmacharya ashram, because we are a brahmachari.
How can a person who is engaged in competence or some sort, how they can 24 hours fully like have that mood of service?
Yes, so there, when you are engaged in the job, so you should not do any wrong practices. So like you should be sure that you are not cheating, or you are not like engaged in any of the wrong practices. And then after that, like even there also, like you should see as much as possible, you should remember the Lord and His this one teachings, and in intervals and in the this one, like when I was working, so we had a very amazing spiritual environment in the office also. So like we were like the devotee who was guiding us, so he was also a manager in the office, and he used to come with tilak and shika to the office, and in his desk like all the books will be kept and things like that. And then every afternoon we used to have 1 hour of Bhagavatam class in the this one. And in fact, in the office we used to have 1 hour of Bhagavatam class. In a conference room we used to go and we used to have 1 hour Bhagavatam class. And then like we used to have evening, weekly evening, like we used to have preaching program in the office. So again, book a conference room, and then we used to have like program over there, like silently, by mail chain, one devotee passes the mail to another devotee and things like that. Secretly we'll. And then like initial sessions used to be told that okay, like Bhagavad Gita discussion is happening, and it is good all round, personality development and things like that. It's all round, it's good. And then the like initial sessions we used to do, and then the serious people will be transferred to lunchtime Bhagavatam class. So, and in this way, like, and the devotee who was training us, he used to tell that by mistake somehow I got married. So you think carefully, See, he was a Grahastha devotee and he was working, and no other brahmacharis also could not inspire so many full-timers, but he inspired many people to become full-timers, no? So like he was such an amazing personality, like so in this way, like we used to have, like, in fact, when that time I was so crazy, when I used to enter the office, I used to offer obeisances and so, because that is the place I got Krishna consciousness. so like, I was the first one to enter the office, like very early in the morning I used to go. And we used to have like Hare Krishna mantra playing in the office, this one office floor. So like the mantra is like played in very, very silent way, very very feeble. Normally during the daytime you will not be able to hear. But in the night, because everything is AC, right? So ducting and all these things are done. So this sound actually multiplies and then it goes into the duct and everywhere it will, morning when you come, the whole vibration is completely different. So myself and one Muslim lady, both of us used to come early in the morning. And so after some time she told that I don't know what is this Hare Krishna mantra that is like going on. In the night also it is ringing in my mind. So then I got so terrified. I went to my mentor and I asked him that prabhuji, I am struggling so hard. Even during chanting Hare Krishna mantra is not appearing in my mind. And this meat eater, she is getting Hare Krishna mantra and throughout the night she is getting what is happening. So then he told, see, once we become devotees, we become critical of others and we become offenders. So then once we commit offenses, so then we don't get this one. We don't get this mantra, very much solidly situated in our mind. So one has to be free from offenses. So for that one has to think, where I am going wrong and how I can improve my devotional service, rather than seeing like where others are going wrong and how I can point faults at other people, right? So that is very, very essential. So where I am going wrong, what is the process that I have accepted and where I am going wrong and how I can improve my devotional service, and that should be one's serious thought process actually.
Generally we see whatever company we are in, they are like highly in whatever their goal and means is materialistic. So
Yes.
it is not according to the dharma. So
That's why we should see that as quickly as possible we should leave. So we should either leave and become a brahmachari, or do you save money and then you come out and then do full-time service. If you have a thought process of just for the sake of saving, Lakshmi, you are working. So you can even save very, very big sum of this one, and you can very quickly quit the organization. Our goal is not that we have to stay on in this corporates. Even if you want to stay on, some recession will come and they'll throw, and some war will happen, and this industry will crash. Anything can happen actually. So we should not. So we should have the solid thought process. The Acharya has told, for our maintenance and sustenance, we are supposed to do Varnashrama, and we should seriously think that how we can actually do that. That is our this one. So more we are, see the Vaishnava Acharyas, they have come to save us from this in the darkest region of existence, in the darkest period of Kali Yuga. And only if we follow that path, we will be saved. Otherwise, we will have to be in miserable existence, right? So one thing, there is a very interesting thought process. If you see whatever we need, it is all coming from the nature. Even in Prabhupada also mentions in the or Krishna also mentions in Bhagavad Gita that when he created this whole universe and then he put in the population, so he created the living entities, he created the devatas, and he created the process of yajna. So when you perform yajna, so then you will get all the needs and necessities, whichever is there, everything will be provided. And the nature will provide in such abundance when the yajna is performed. So one will be super rich actually, So in that way it is good. And then secondly speaking, living a natural life is more healthier, than living in the cities where inhaling polluted, air and stuff like that and all. So, in this way, if you make analysis, you will see that the Varnashrama thing that the Acharya has, told, not just one Acharya, Srila Prabhupada has told, and he was inspired by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. All these great acharyas have kept this one very, very consistent. So we will have to move towards that direction. At least we should start thinking about these aspects, and we will have to start moving towards that direction. And as predicted by Srila Prabhupada himself, it will take maybe that time he predicted 100 years or something like that. This modern economic system will fall. And it is on the way. It is very, very flimsy. It is in a very, very tottering platform. No solid values, no solid so there are analysis also. Even the materialistic people also have made analysis. So they have made analysis of different symptoms of a falling civilization. So where women equality comes, where the religion is taken as irreligious practices become 90% of the people practice religious practices, and then there is anybody can open a university, and these are all symptoms. That is, people have studied many civilizations, how the civilizations actually fall. So these are all symptoms of falling civilization. Already these symptoms are rampant in the society. So we should see. We may be getting some good packages in nice software companies and things like that, but already we are seeing the symptoms of falling civilization. So it is not going to go on for long. Something will happen, and these things will crash. Maybe 15, 20, 30 years. We don't know how much. Maybe 5 years, 10 years also. So we don't know. So we should be prepared. We should be prepared. At least mentally we should be prepared. And definitely the ways are there. Krishna has created sufficient ways to sustain ourselves. We should move towards that direction. So I will stop here. I will have to move on to the other programs too. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. We would like to thank the Lord for the nice class. So we'll chant one time Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare